Namaste, angels. Thank you for joining, liking, sharing, and subscribing to my videos. This is Mariama, the Queen of Swords, and I appreciate all the many ways you guys support me. Speaking of which, this week, one of you sent me payment in full for a Divine Light Cleanse for another. You said to give it to somebody who wanted one but could not afford to get their own. I posted it and it was gone like that. Like that. I also at the same time in the same video, however, posted where another one of you had sent last week $56 toward a Divine Light Cleanse for me, and I explained, like, why would somebody want to send you money to give you a Divine Light Cleanse when you do the Divine Light Cleanses? Like, you're the one who does it. Why would you need payment? Well, I explained, as I have before, that this client and supporter, subscriber, viewer, and member of the soul family, the collective, the community, was aware that the Divine Light Cleanse is dependent on any energy exchange, and I can't very well exchange energy with myself. However, somebody else can exchange energy with me and with me in mind, and in that way not only purchase a Divine Light Cleanse, it's like giving doubly, giving twice, because they're not only exchanging with me, but they're doing it again with me in mind. And so it's like twice over that I receive that blessing when something like that happens. So she was requesting that the remaining $55 be donated to me from members of the collective. That has not gone so quickly. In fact, we're waiting for the entire $55. Nobody has given it. It's a little disappointing, but maybe nobody saw the post. So I'm putting it out there now that we are seeking to raise an additional $55. But I am thankful nonetheless, again, to all of you who do support me in the many ways that you do, whether it is by buying Divine Light Cleanses for me, for yourself, or for another in need, which is just really a beautiful thing. There's only a couple things I'm going to talk about this week. Actually, there's only one. And it's sort of, this is a nice segue. There is one event about which I'm going to talk this week that occurs this week on the 8th. And that is Chiron, the Wounded Healer, entering retrograde in Aries. I'm basically, as it relates to the Divine Light Cleanse or to energy healing of that magnitude, a wounded healer. I can do it for other people. I can't do it for myself without assistance. Perhaps it's even more true to life than that, actually, because Chiron is going retrograde in Aries. Guess where my natal placement for Chiron is? In Aries. Yep, Chiron in Aries. It's sort of about being one of those types of people that we fall down while we get up. It's the kind of people that we get hurt and we just like brush ourselves off and keep going. And I think that this Chiron retrograde, again, coincidentally, is going to be very much about what I was just talking. How can ways that we've been wounded or that we are hurt help others? Maybe others can learn from our mistakes, or we can extend healing to others. Especially something like this. I've had this healing. I know it works. I want you to have it. I want you to have it so desperately that I'm going to pay for it. Because that's what happens with Divine Light Cleanse. This is not the first time people have donated it. It's especially, I guess, when we were all, a period, maybe, at the same time, we were all maybe manifesting much better than some of us are at the moment, maybe. It was just like a regular occurrence, very, very often I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 Divine Light Cleanses to give away on my page that someone else had paid the $111 towards, which I think is an amazing thing and a tremendously beautiful thing. And again, I think it's the kind of thing that Chiron retrograde in Aries is going to be about. So not just not just as paying for other people's things, but again, how can they learn from our mistakes? How can our hurt be shared with others so that perhaps they won't have to hurt? Maybe it's talking about what has happened to us. People that talk about their sexuality, for example, and the persecution that they've experienced for it. How can that be a lesson for other people? How can that save other people from perhaps having to go through the same thing, or should they have to, helping them to navigate through that experience because they know somebody else or they know of somebody else who triumphed over it. Could be sexuality, it can be who was in jail and they're telling you their story. So then, like what's that show? It's not just a show, it's an actual program that was became popular in the 60s. Scared Straight, like that sort of thing. I experienced this, so you don't have to. Rape victims, when they tell their stories, it sort of helps other people. Cancer survivors, it doesn't have to be that, something necessarily, someone or something necessarily attacked you in the 3D, but some of us are survivors, are triumphant over these diseases and things like that, and through those things we can help other people. We can become a support system. Habits, right? Bad habits, addictions. We have group therapy, AAA. There's Overeaters Anonymous too. I don't know if you guys know. Not just Alcoholics Anonymous. There's it relates to also drug abusers. There's all different kinds of support groups and things that we can go to. There are other different types of survivors. Cancer survivors, again, survivors of different diseases can get together and support each other. The families of those people can do so, right? You're the family of a family member of this person that experienced something so devastating. And so that can be devastating for you. How do you hold up? How do you deal? I spent a lot of my marriage and the time when my children were very young alone because their father was in the army. I probably could have used some sort of support group, but at the same time, like I just said, I'm a Chiron and Aries person, so whatever I went through, I just, suck it up, Mariama. You'll be fine. And here I am, I'm fine. But, I probably could have used something. And I probably can help other people who are dealing with the same thing. Your mate, your spouse, the other parent of your children is away. How do you deal? How do you get by? Not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, all that stuff. And maybe even also like with different feelings about war. Anti-war versus war. But your family member is there, is away fighting some kind of conflict. And how do you resolve all that? So anyway, those are just some examples. That's the kind of thing I expect to be going on around us with Chiron and Aries. And that maybe that would be the extent of what I talk about it. Sometimes I read something, but that was just from within. So maybe that's enough to share. I was thinking that Mary had some holidays this week. Maybe I was just meant to use her cards. It's actually next week. Well, she does have one this week, and that is Our Lady of Fatima. You might say, well, Our Lady of Fatima, I thought that was in May, or I thought that was in June, like where they have the huge celebration in June. Yeah, that's true, but it's every month from May through October on the 13th. Our Lady of Fatima is celebrated because she visited Fatima, or Fatima, every month on the 13th, the year of 1917, beginning in May through October. So I'm starting with her, I'm using her deck, and I'm Mary, Queen of Angels, and I'm starting with Action. Today I take action related to the priorities that I have previously put off. Also, speaking of Mother, the High Priestess, Major Arcana card 2. This is the time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. The King of Earth, with my other tarot deck. Generous, professional, responsible, and practical. A successful time. Confidently accept opportunities you're offered. You have the Midas touch. And lastly, again, speaking of Mother, environmentalist, because I pick up this card and I look at this card and I think of our need to maybe spend some time in nature. Also, with seeing the King of Earth at the same time, need to spend some time in nature or healing ourselves as it relates to our environment, whether that's our physical environment, our living conditions, or whatever. But or our inner selves, the food that we take in, or the stores and businesses that we patronize, so our environment in that sense. And literally our environment, the trees, the grass, the plants, the animals, all of that, of course, is of Mother Nature. So you're an earth angel who was born to protect, nurture, and to teach about nature and the animals. So we have that. So even though this week she does not have all the holidays that I thought she did at first, or that I was thinking fell into this week, yeah, I think Mother is very much here and present. So I thought she was having a trifecta. I thought she was having all three, because I don't know why. I was thinking that the 16th fell into this week, and on the 16th she kind of has two. Well, you know what? Actually, she does have another one on the 9th, and that is Our Lady of Itati. But Our Lady of Itati is also celebrated on 7/16, along with Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which was going to be celebrated on July 17th and was moved to July 16th. And I'll quickly tell you a little story about that. So back in 2016, the first year that I was on YouTube, there were a bunch of dark angels, dark readers, different types of supposed healers and whatnot on YouTube. Very, very prominent, they were telling you, they were hidden in plain sight. They were telling you who they were, and there were people that just didn't get it or didn't want to get it, or whatever reason they thought that these were who they should be following. But they were demons, basically. And they were trying to get people to celebrate Lilith on the 17th of July. And I remember explaining to my viewers, at least, which were many at the time, 10,000, 15,000 was normal in 2016 to be watching my videos. This is before the devil had to quiet me, had to try to stifle me and hide me, because of things like this. They were trying to push this basically it was a Lilith celebration, July 17th, and saying that was the day that we were to recognize Divine Mother. And I said, no, it's the 16th. And, again, I always back my shit up with facts. It's not just off the top of my head. I'm not pulling something out of my ass. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. You can look up and find out that maybe not everything I'm saying, but you can look up enough to substantiate it. And one of the examples I gave was that she had Divine Mother of the Light has two feast days on the 16th, and one of them again is Our Lady of Mount Carmel, which was going to be celebrated on the 17th, and then it was like and the date was moved to the 16th. Now, it wasn't because Lilith, but maybe it was in the background. I'm sure it was in the background. That's not the reason they use in the surface. The Pope just said he decided to change the date. He said it was a conflict. Maybe that was his conflict. Maybe he was conflicted because he didn't want to celebrate the light on the day attributed to the dark. So that's the lesson for today. Let's get to the cards. First the dice, of course. It's 50-50. Romantic dinner. And cocktail. Spirit says try again. And I think that can be in relation to something, some aspect of your life that you tried and you feel like you failed. Like I was saying with Chiron and Aries, we fall down, we get up. You know, it can be something like that. Also party. And weekend away. Speaking of party, happy birthday to any Cancers who are out there celebrating, or if there's any other reason for celebration that you are, you know, spending time celebrating. Congratulations, happy, all that stuff. I think I'm going to shuffle all the cards first and lay them, rather than do it one by one. So beginning with the King of Earth, who is generous, professional, responsible, and practical. Again, a successful time, confidently accept opportunities you're offered. You have the Midas touch. The King of Earth is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And actually, I had seen something about a Capricorn as I was shuffling. Oh, yes, I remember now. One may visit you. One may visit you. And it could be a deceased one also. Could be another earth sign too, but I most specifically felt Capricorn. Somebody being visited this week by a Capricorn, and that Capricorn does not have to be on this plane of existence. They may be deceased. And opening to the Ace of Water. Falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, maybe even a new home. This Ace of Water may be connected to that. Being here opposite the King of Earth could be connected to that Capricorn visiting someone or some of you, who they will. If they are on this plane, it may be for the first time, and you guys may be connecting on a romantic level. Or maybe meeting again, and perhaps you were involved before, or you knew each other before, and now you're going to become involved. It could be the start of something romantic between you. If it is somebody who is no longer on this plane, they are deceased, they could be visiting you to tell you, you know, to release that energy so that you can have some sort of new start, to open that space in your heart that maybe you held for them and share it with somebody else. For others of us, for whom it has nothing to do with the Capricorn, it is opposite the King of Earth. And again, this can be about something new in your life that brings you extreme joy and emotional fulfillment, that perhaps is something material, like a new job, like a new home, the ability to afford something in your life that is going to bring you extreme happiness. And the Two of Water can absolutely be a romantic situation or a new friendship. Again, something that's going to bring you a lot of happiness. A new business partnership, maybe, opposite the King of Earth, too. A relationship that continues to grow closer. Forgiveness and the positive resolution of a conflict. I just thought 7/16 this month, speaking of Divine Mother and all that stuff, is not only the birthday of the person who sent me the money to pay for Divine Light Cleanse for another, but it's the day of the full moon. Is the full moon in Capricorn? You know what? That might be the Capricorn that's coming to visit some of it. Yeah, the full moon. I think the full moon is in Capricorn. So that could be also, that may be who's coming to visit us. And there's also a partial lunar eclipse on 7/16 with that energy. So we have all that to look forward to next week. Again, Two of Water. And speaking of Capricorn and ego and the devil and all that stuff, it is Major Arcana card 15, Ego, which is the devil. In the traditional tarot, it's called Ego in this deck. But yes, it is the devil. And does represent the sign of Capricorn. A false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things and negative or fear-based thoughts. Sure, it can be that. This card can represent that. Toxicity and or addiction, and just the feeling of not having any options. Or more positively, it can just represent a Capricorn in your life. Maybe somebody with whom you're going to have some sort of partnership. So that's the positive look. But for some, we might be feeling stuck in a relationship. Maybe a relationship that we want out of. You know, it may be toxic for us. It may be addictive for us in an unhealthy way, and we want out. We want to be healed. We want to learn from somebody else's mistakes with, you know, the help of Chiron, maybe. And this fire energy behind us. Speaking of fire, there's a lot of that going on right now too. Both Mars and Mercury currently located in Leo, and now Chiron being retrograde in Aries, fellow fire sign Aries. Jupiter is retrograde in Sagittarius, right, fellow fire sign Sagittarius. So this is a lot of fire energy surrounding us too. And speaking of new starts, major arcana card 0, the Dreamer, which is the Fool in the traditional tarot. A leap of faith, follow your dreams, that leads to unexpected opportunities. In this deck in particular, this card has always spoken to me of and represented for me the planet Mercury, ruler of Gemini and Virgo, which is also in retrograde and may move into Cancer this week. I might have to do another video with explaining stuff, because I figured let's go to the cards, because I don't really have to talk to you about anything now. But you know what? Now that I think about it, Mercury, which entered retrograde last week's reading, in Leo, I think may move into Cancer this week. So we'll have to look into that. In any case, and if it does, Venus is also there. Venus is currently located in Cancer. In any case, the Dreamer, or the Fool, is all about a brand new path that we're walking, a fresh start. And so it can be a fresh start again. Relationship, maybe we're meeting somebody new, we're starting some sort of new partnership, whether it's a friendship, a business partnership, or romantic, or, you know, two family members getting together, forming some sort of bond. Or, yes, it can absolutely be representative of a fresh start in an existing relationship that, you know, had gone awry. Maybe we're coming out of separation or something. And again, with this other tarot deck, the Animal Tarot, I'm starting with a 2, and it's the High Priestess, which represents the sign of Gemini, or a water sign. This is a time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. I open to the 5 of Winter. I saw a lot of conflict and stuff as I was shuffling too. I saw the 5 of Winter, the 3 of Winter, or Swords, and I believe the 9. Your current path isn't leading you toward the happiest possible outcome, so why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agendas of others. High Priestess and the 2 of Summer again. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can still be saved. Don't give up. So I think that these two cards opposite one another are saying similar things to what I saw with those. There can be a relationship, an existing relationship that we're healing, and maybe we're going to breathe new life into, try something different with, approach from a new path. We're going to decide to walk a new path together. Or there may be conflict that we just can't resolve by remaining together. Maybe in order to resolve this conflict, we need to separate. We need to divorce or something like that. We need to end our business relationship. We need to end our friendship, whatever the kind of situation you have. So 2 of Summer, I think since we have 2 2s of Summer now, I'm going to just stop there and cut. This deck, that brings us to the Wheel, major arcana card, the Wheel, which represents the planet Jupiter, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, which again, it is currently in retrograde. And 2 of water in this deck. Whoa! You saw it in front of your face. You saw me cut into 6. I started with 2 of cups in both decks, cut into 6 in both cases, ended up on the wheel in both cases. You saw it recorded live. I was going to say you saw it happen live, yes, but recorded. Major Arcana card 10, again, the wheel, which represents the planet Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, in which it is currently retrograde. A time of positive change, a situation suddenly moves forward, and fortune is on your side twice over. All right, let's see what the overall energy will be. In the Angel Tarot, it is the Page of Air, logical, honest, impulsive, and curious, challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. The Page of Air is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, is someone likened to those traits or attributes. Of course, Page of Air can also be tied to Mercury or Venus. Venus, ruler of Libra and Gemini, as it relates to air signs. And Mercury, ruler of Gemini as well. Oh, and let me tell you the overall energy here was back to the High Priestess where we started. Isn't that funny? Again, this is a time to pause and to reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. And whatever it is in which you're focusing, it may have to do with a partnership, with this being Major Arcana card 2, or with just your need to have faith. That's what 2s mean. In addition to partnerships, they mean faith. Crowning the masculine this week. It's Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor, organization and logic, structure and discipline, and leadership. Major Arcana card 4, the Emperor, represents the planet Mars, ruler of the sign of Aries, where Chiron will be going retrograde, where Chiron is currently located, has been for a long time, and again will enter retrograde on the 8th, and also ruler of the sign of Scorpio. Maybe that's from where this water comes from. But the 5 of Summer is about disappointment. This can be a father figure or authority. Could represent the masculine's energy itself. Maybe your father, or you as a father, being disappointed in yourself or in someone connected to you. The 5 of Summer. Focus upon the fact that God loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. So you're not meant to focus on the disappointment or on the, the doubt and pessimism and, negative feelings and feelings of woe, like, oh, woe is me, nothing good ever happens to me. But you're meant to change that energy and sort of regain control of yourself, like pull yourself together, is what this Emperor and the 5 of Summer or Cups is suggesting. Masculine may be feeling some kind of loss, but again, the Emperor for me tends to be like a father or a father figure, or what I call the marrying kind, that type of man that is distinguished in such a way that women find him just you look like a husband. He often is a husband or someone with children that maybe perhaps was married before but is no longer, a divorcee, a widower, something like that. Surrounding the masculine. The Queen of Fire, who is confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Along with the Eight of Winter, which is represents an energy of feeling stuck, very much like the Devil for me. The only difference really is that this is minor arcana and the Devil is major. It's so easy to convince yourself that you're trapped when you really aren't. Trust that God will lift you to new heights and give you a greater sense of self-confidence if you further affirm your freedom. This could be representative of feeling stuck. Maybe in retrograde energy, like you're feeling you can't move, or you're being forced to move in a particular direction, which is backwards. And you're feeling like you can't move forward. That may very well be because, again, that's controlled right now by fire. We have Jupiter retrograde in Sagittarius. We have Chiron entering retrograde in Aries. And we have Mercury retrograde in Leo. The Queen of Fire is, in fact, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And it can be an actual person with whom you're feeling stuck. That may be a fire sign. Again, the Emperor himself may be a fire sign, in Aries in particular, if not a Scorpio. Masculine subconscious. I like these two together a lot. Major Arcana card 20, Renewal or Judgment, which represents the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. Review and evaluate a favorable assessment of the facts. It's time to move in a new direction. We have that coupled with the Ace of Autumn. This is why it's so awesome. You can expect a windfall of abundance, such as money, timely assistance, a serendipitous meeting, or rewarding advice. You may be offered a fabulous new job or promotion, or the prospect of a profitable business venture or investment. And that's actually what renewal or judgment is all about. It's about abundance that is earned, whether that's a relationship or that is actual money, or the material representation of money, a new job or something like that. It's about promotion, raise, bonus, recognition, being rewarded, being awarded something, being certified, your abundance finally coming in, and it's major arcana, it's strong, it's heavy, it can, you're finally getting what you deserve when judgment shows up, in a positive sense. It can also be, as it relates to relationships, representative of a second time around. So we're starting over, maybe with an earth sign in Capricorn, again with this Ace of Autumn being the one to show up. So it could be a fresh start. It can be something that we're encountering for the first time, but it's going to be super, super abundant for us, whether it's a relationship again, or a new job, or something else that's coming our way. But it may be a second time around. We may be doing things differently, and it may be, just doing things a lot better this time around, whether it's business or relationship, whatever. Also, so that second time around doesn't have to only be in relationships. It can be like the dice said, trying again in some area of your life where you feel you failed before, but maybe, this time can be a success. Maybe you'll start your own business. That can be what this is representative of too. At least you taking action as an authority, and starting your own business is something. Being recognized as a boss, as a leader in some area of your life. Also, as it relates to relationships, it can be about coming to some sort of crossroad and needing to decide, like, where do we go from here, if anywhere. So for some of you, that'll be all the way. With the Ace of Autumn or Pentacles, there's room for like lifelong commitment there. Really strong, long-lasting relationship. And for others of you, you may be getting your fresh start because you're deciding that you're not going any further. It's the end of the road in a particular relationship, but you're going to start a new one of a new type. somewhere and possibly with someone else. And so that's why you're getting the ace. Kind of the feminine. Ooh. Yeah. This is breakup or some sort of feeling of loss or hurt in the area of love, possibly, very possibly, at the hands of a king of summer, a male water sign. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. Also, I'm feeling this can be connected to the father, and this is about the loss of the father. And I'm getting chills in only one leg, only one side. Again, maybe the feminine being visited by someone, maybe it's not a Capricorn. Perhaps it is. Perhaps your father was a Capricorn. Pluto, because this is mirroring the judgment. I'm getting it in my arm. You can see the hair of my arm raising. Pluto, which represents, again, the major arcana card judgment, which this is mirroring here. Oh, now I'm seeing we don't have all the cards in view, too. Let me just sort of turn the... Oh, goodness. That. No, I can't get the stand to do right. All right, I think that's better. Or for some of us, I do feel, I was saying that judgment is here mirroring these two cards. In the traditional tarot, judgment is actually, it's not about death. It's about people waiting for, it's about spirits that are in purgatory. You're somewhere in between life and death. And so that may be, since it's mirroring, again, that represents the planet Pluto, which was ruler of the sign of Scorpio. For me, that may be why this is showing up as the king of summer, but it's also mirroring here the emperor. I just got a feeling of father and loss. I don't necessarily feel it for this week that somebody's going to lose their father, but I think maybe they already have, and they're dealing with that this week. And again, maybe he'll visit them. Maybe he'll come to them in some sort of way. That was heavy. I'm sorry. The king of summer is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. For others of us, this is representing of some sort of loss, again, or hurt, pain, connected to something about which we care, or someone about which we care. There's emotional ties to it. Our heart is in it, invested in it. Feminine surrounded by, here, disappointment. Also more water sign with major arcana card 18, the moon. It's important to trust your intuition, even if you're unsure of what's happening. All will be revealed soon, so worry is unnecessary. And again, this could be leading us into the full moon, which will be part of next week's reading, or I'll do a full moon reading itself next week. I do believe the full moon is in Capricorn, as I was saying. Saturn currently retrograde there. Saturn, Capricorn's ruler, currently retrograde there. Pluto also currently retrograde in Capricorn. So that's another reason why these cards can be showing up. A major arcana card, the moon, is one that tells us that regardless of whether we know what's ahead or not, if we're guided to go forward by the divine, our intuition, our gut feelings, then we do it. We do it fearlessly. And we don't expect disappointment. We expect there to be something positive there waiting for us, something good there, an opportunity. And we don't want to not check it out. We don't want to not move forward and risk missing out on this opportunity. We need to, sort of surge ahead. The Four of Water is exactly about that. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Major arcana card 18, the moon, represents the planet Neptune in the sign of Pisces, which it rules. Neptune, which also entered retrograde like a week ago. And I'm wondering if the Four of water or cups, and the masculine's 5, which is about disappointment, and yeah, also sort of again that oh woe is me, aren't connected, and for some about maybe the need to heal a relationship with an authority, possibly our father, whether he's here or not, even if he's transitioned to another plane. There might be something that we need to heal to finally like forgive ourselves if we were suffering from guilt feelings or something. I never said XYZ. I missed the opportunity. He was disappointed in me, or something. When he left, or something like that. It's not too late to fix that and to work on that, to heal that. And I think Chiron wants to help you. And again, there may be some sort of support group or support system among your own family and or friends that can help you to deal with that, to heal that. Feminine subconscious. It's another queen of fire. And she's joined by the queen of water, is tenderhearted, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. Queen of spring also. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. Right. Don't think that nothing is going to come your way. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. The Queen of Spring, again, is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And the Queen of Water is a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, like the King, which is also on the table. And with the King and Queen both showing up here, for some, this absolutely has to do with a romantic relationship. I'm also thinking about the combinations of not necessarily 2 cards together, but all the cards that are on the deck. We've got a lot of cards that hold particular meanings as it has to do with relationships. Like, for example, the 3 of Swords, pretty much is, people usually understand that it's about some sort of disappointment or heartache, and with sitting atop the 4 of Cups, which is also like, it's like an expectation of disappointment more so than actual disappointment for me, or like being unimpressed, because you just don't expect anymore out of life, so to see them together, it's given me a really like a down feeling. Sitting atop the King in particular, or having other characters here too. It can be about some sort of betrayal at the hands of somebody here. Maybe the King of Cups into sitting underneath the 3. But we also got these 2 queens down here. Queen of Water or Cups and the Queen of Fire or Wands. We had the Moon somewhere. The Moon, it can be about hidden stuff. Maybe lies. Maybe things that weren't shared, like on purpose. Sometimes the Moon is about things that we just don't know. The universe doesn't mean for us to know everything all the time. Sometimes stuff comes out. Sometimes, we never know. But there is a saying, what's done in the dark, like what's done on purpose, always comes to light, and I believe that, and I've seen it play out. But that can be what the Moon is representative of, and it can be about our partner's behaviors having to do with things that they're not telling us, whether consciously or unconsciously, connected to their fear too, or to ours. When the Moon shows up, it can be connected to fear. And often, maybe I shouldn't say often, but sometimes the indirect communication and, the confusing, like mixed signals and stuff that you get is representative of like a narcissist. And the moon represents the sign of Pisces. I have seen that out of Pisces men in particular. Um, Manipulation, narcissism. I have nothing against Pisces men on a personal level. Um, have I ever dated a Pisces sun? Not a Pisces sun, but I dated a Libra sun that was a Pisces moon and rising. Yeah, he had some of that. But then getting Libras can be manipulative too. I don't know. I'm just getting like some possible narcissism, and that's taking me to the Emperor, because the Emperor can also be representative of a narcissist and somebody that is like overbearing, as it relates to control. The King of Cups is an awesome dude. Then again, he might be a Pisces. I kid, I kid. He's an awesome dude, but the shadow side, the darker side, the moon side, so to speak, of the King of Cups, is that he too can be very self-centered and manipulative and sort of narcissistic, and often somebody who is what's the word for when you have like an addictive personality, like a hardcore drinker, or somebody who uses drugs regularly, even if they're drugs that we don't consider so harsh or serious, like marijuana and stuff, but you do it all the time. Eventually it's not just um, medic medicine. You are medicating yourself. You are numbing yourself to life when you're just high all the time, all day, every day. That's to me, there's a difference between that and somebody, even if you're somebody who smokes every day, there's a difference between that and being high all the time. I hope I'm making myself clear. But this person can be an addictive, the King of Cups can be an addictive personality on his shadow side. So it just occurred to me that we had all these cards that can be about disappointment and game playing and narcissism and somebody with an agenda and stuff at the same time. I just sort of all of a sudden leapt out at me. Anyway, let's see what else we got. Crowning. Okay, sitting right next to the Emperor now is the Empress. Now I do have to remember that we got those two very positive wheels after cutting in both decks. So I do see, regardless, positive outcome, and we keep getting these aces too. But I think that this is describing situations that before they become positive, and maybe something from which we can learn. We do fall down, but we get back up. Again, a la Chiron and Aries, they're demonstrating first the fall, right? This is the fall down, a lot of the stuff that we've seen. And then with the aces and the bounce back, the dreamer, the fool, that's when we're getting up. So major arcana card, the Empress, is about abundance. Like the wheel, overwhelming abundance, and can be in many different areas. You're just fertile with energy to make things happen in your life. And coupled with the ace of spring, something about which, or someone about which you're extremely passionate is what you're pursuing. This can also represent, since it's the ace of spring, is technically the ace of wands. The suit of wands is super phallic, can represent an actual, like a phallus, a penis. And I talk sometimes about getting the wand, if you know what I mean. That can definitely be what's happening with the Empress and the ace of spring, because she is super attractive and beautiful and fertile and a co-creator. Threes are about creation and co-creation. Somebody could be getting pregnant, trying to get pregnant. If you've been wanting to get pregnant and haven't yet, as the dice said, try again. This can be your lucky time. The Empress and the Emperor sitting next to each other can represent a married couple, a very karmic relationship, not karmic in the derogatory sense, but karmic as it was meant, by definition, to be, something of the universe, this sort of spiritually tied together couple. But on a 3D level, yes, it can represent, that sort of marriage too. And so, if you're feeling to get out of the relationship, don't be afraid just because it's this. In fact, we have these cards sitting next to the Three of Air. So perhaps something went wrong in a marriage, maybe involving an Aries or Scorpio, along with a Libra, Gemini, or Taurus. That is possible too, that led to this hurt. At the root, foundation. It's another King of Cups and another Judgment, sitting next to the current Judgment. All right, I couldn't make this up if I tried. Oh, again, the King of Cups is a Scorpio, like Judgment, right, and Pluto, ruled by Pluto. Pisces, like the moon, or Cancer. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice and charity work, which is love to me. It doesn't say which is love on the card, but to me, charity work, giving of ourselves freely without agenda, is love. It's unconditional love, even if it's between you and a stranger. But coupled with Major Arcana card 20, renewal, which is actually judgment in the traditional tarot, which represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio, which it rules. Again, this is about something that we deserve. This is abundance that we have earned, whether through actual labors, like on this plane, the 3D plane, or through our karma, our works that we've done on behalf, of the universe and humanity. We're being paid back for that. Maybe through charity work. Maybe somebody's going to donate to us, like what I asked for in the beginning of this video. Or what I told you about in the beginning of this video, how one of my clients donated to another. Judgment is about, again, abundance coming to you. You deserve it. It is recognition. It is reward. It is an award. It is some sort of certification, bonus, raise, promotion, job. You're being paid back for something. And it can absolutely be in the area of love or something to which you are emotionally, romantically tied. It's in your heart. It could be a job you love, a friend that you really, really care for. Something's happening in that relationship. Because again, also as it relates to relationships, renewal or judgment can be about second times around, trying again, and it can also be about coming to a crossroad and deciding where do we go from here, if anywhere. So now we have judgment sitting next to judgment. I just want you guys to know. And we have the King of Water sitting next to the Queen of Water and also mirroring the Queen of Water, because we got a King of Water here too. So definitely couples sitting at the table, the Empress and the Emperor sitting next to each other. We could be with all these threes that are also showing up, the Empress, the Three of Air. They can also be maybe two involved couples that maybe each, there's a third party, or they're intertwined or something like that could be going on, if you know what I mean, if I'm making myself clear. And again, maybe those specific air signs, not specific air signs, those specific zodiac signs also. Aries, Scorpio, Gemini, Libra, Taurus. Oh, I forgot the fire signs. Leo, Sagittarius also. At the heart of the matter, I was pausing for a minute. I'm like, are there earth signs here too? Because remember, we did have the king. I started with the king of earth, but he didn't show up on the table. A lot of characters here today. But at the heart of the matter, happiness is at the heart of the matter this week, basically, with the 10 of Autumn and the 10 of Water. Both of these cards are about happiness, security, family, love, friends, being surrounded by, good times, friends, love, feeling like as if we're a part of something, we belong. We're not, just on the outside, even if it's just one other person with whom we're spending time. Somebody may have had some sort of hurtful experience while with family. Maybe family made them feel like they did not belong, like they were shut out, like you are the black, what they call that, the black sheep. You're not welcome. And it's interesting because in this picture, all the horses are white except for one. There's a brown one. Like you're on the outside is what I'm getting. So that may be what the hurt is too. And you may feel like you're needing to pull away from some family members, even possibly parents, your mother, your father, or your mother and father didn't do anything when your siblings acted up. Or the boss, the leaders didn't do anything when other employees around you were making you feel ostracized and not part of the team. Perhaps somebody's tried to steal your shine as related to work or even family or whatever. But again, you're about to get your payback too. The big payback. With these two judgment cards showing up at the bottom. One being coupled with the Ace of Pentacles and the other being coupled with the King of Water. So we're going to be made to feel fulfilled on an emotional level, and maybe even restored on a financial perspective as well. Advice for both archetypes from these decks. One just jumped out, so we'll use that for everybody. It is watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and to enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. And that, again, that may be somebody particular who is watching over you and who may even make themselves known this week. Quite possibly someone's father, but maybe mother too. Watching over you from heaven, and will let you know that they're there. Even if you're not, a medium. So that leaves us again. We're starting with action with this deck and opening to health. My prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. Action and compassion. I see and feel others' points of view with forgiveness and kindness. Action and signs. I watch for, notice, and trust the signs that heaven continually sends. Again, some of us may receive some sort of signs. It might not be where you get to see the actual person, but maybe you'll see, for example, the dimes on the street. People say that our loved ones, deceased loved ones, leave those dimes for us. So you'll stop and pick that up, or you'll notice something that reminds you of this person, and you'll know that they must have put it there, or they must have, caused you to turn and look at this thing to say, I'm here, I'm watching. So those signs can show up, and as it relates to this plane. Maybe second chances, perhaps. Maybe from your King of Water, your Queen of Water, them coming back into your life, your Empress, your Emperor. Maybe you'll get some sort of synchronicities and signs from them too, letting you know, yes, I'm around, and perhaps even I'll be back soon, or on my way back. And truth. I am lovingly honest with myself and others. Again, something may be coming out also with the moon showing up here. I'll do one more shuffle with these and signs. Oh, goodness. optimism, which is something we needed on this table with all this doubt, with the Five of Cups, the Four of Cups. Optimism. I expect good things to happen, and they do. And lastly, my life purpose cards, again, begin with environmentalists. You're an earth angel who was born to protect, nurture, and to teach about nature and the animals. And I was just moved to use these, I guess, to give some of us some focus this week as to, where our lives are headed. You heal with kind words, wise advice, and an empathetic ear. Counseling. Didn't I talk about counseling in connection to Chiron? So yeah. That's probably why it was made to use these this week. Counseling. And practice. Polish your skills by practicing regularly. Counseling. And lastly, books. You connect to your life purpose through your involvement with books. This can also be reading about other people's experiences. Again, that will help us to learn a lesson. Books. Some of us may want to write, whether it's writing a book or just writing like in a journal or something. That can be a way toward healing also. It just came to me. And coming to sensitivity. You're becoming more sensitive and you need to make changes accordingly. Maybe to your environment. The people, places, and things with which you surround yourself you no longer resonate with. And maybe that's why there was some sort of beef. I just picked up like beef with like family or friends here. Particularly for the feminine. Maybe it was a masculine fire sign, possibly an Aries, but not necessarily, who tried to, come at her. Again, possibly from her friends, close friends, and or actual blood family. Further advice to the masculine for this week, though. You're on the right path. Not doing that, but I guess everything else. Keep doing what you're doing because it's working. Not hurting people, not manipulating people, but everything else maybe. Feminine, leadership. Take charge of this situation, like an empress. Even when you've, been the victim. Again, think of yourself as a survivor instead of a victim and take charge. Use it to your advantage, the experience. Masculine, tenderness. You can try a little tenderness. I'm both gentle and powerful. Like, it's okay to be both. By being compassionate, you're not being a punk. You're just, being a decent human. Feminine for us, hope. I trust that God has a wonderful solution and brilliant plans in store for me. Especially in those places where we've been hurt, right? Or we've suffered loss or something. Masculine, the two of earth. Too much going on at once is a need to make a decision. Consider a more playful approach. Two of earth can be about the need for balance in our lives. Work versus, social time. Maybe we're juggling more than one relationship. Again, the emperor, the empress, the king and queen of water. Two queens of spring, also of fire, also showing up. Like, who are all these people? So there could be a lot of juggling going on. There's a need to find balance and to make a decision as to what it is you actually want in your life. Whatever area this is showing up for you. It doesn't have to be romantic. Again, feminine, nice. Another ace of fire. We got one somewhere else. I forget where it is, but this is another one. Is it here? No, that's judgment. It's here with the Empress. Yes. Another ace of fire. So again, new beginnings in an area in which we are, we're passionate about the subject matter or a person about which we're passionate. Maybe even getting the wand, even though sex didn't show up in the dice this week. lastly, masculine for you, it is the Queen of Autumn, who is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious, and is tied to mother for me, and can be tied to the Empress. The Empress also represents the sign of Taurus, which is also ruled by Venus. You will be given advice that's both practical and creative, and it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive. So not the doubt, not the negativity, not the pessimism, only the positive in every situation or person. And that's going to be your, your way of triumphing over everything. The Queen of Autumn is a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And again, maybe a Capricorn coming back into your life, or in your dreams, or on this plane. And lastly, speaking of earth signs, feminine, Major Arcana card 9, the Hermit. Take time for contemplation, to retreat and to go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment. Did I talk about Our Lady of Mount Carmel? That's next week. That's the 16th. Because they were like the first group of hermits. Like nuns that went into seclusion, and monks. In any case, this is about us needing to go within and to do some introspection, and to maybe be a hermit, maybe spend some time alone, or possibly at home, or wherever is our calm and quiet place where we can be alone with our thoughts, and possibly to deal with some hurt, whether past or present. But I believe that for most people it is something that has already happened. Not that you will experience this hurt this week, that you have already experienced it, and now this is this is you getting back up. Again, a la Chiron, this week we get back up. But you may need to decide where it is, you're going, and what direction it is you're heading once you get back up. Okay, I get back up, and then what? So to figure that out, that's why feminine, we've been blessed with the Hermit to do some introspection and to see what else we want, and maybe to become enlightened, perhaps also in connection with the moon. Something that's in the dark is what we need to become enlightened. That needs to be illuminated for us to maybe some light needs to be, again, shown on an opportunity for us, so we can know that that's the decision that we need to be making. That's the direction in which we need to be heading, right toward that opportunity, which can be represented by this Ace of Fire. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the general reading. I will be back with love, although this looks like some love could be going on here too. I'll be back with one specifically geared toward love. Thank you again for joining me, liking, sharing, and subscribing, and all the many ways you guys do support me. Please do consider donating toward the remaining $55 that my client is trying to raise on my behalf. And thank you all again, and thank you to her again. Namaste.